present, who truly commands the system. With nuclear energy, electric communication, and the computer, all the necessary components of a modernized mega machine at last become available. Heaven has at last been brought near. Theoretically, because he's talking in 62, when computer was still in the infancy stage. Theoretically, at the present moment, and actually soon in the future, God, that is the computer, will be able to find, locate, and address instantly by voice and image via the priesthood any individual on the planet, exercising control over every detail of the subject's life, commanding a dossier which will include his parentage, birth, complete educational record, account of his illnesses, mental breakdowns, his marriage, his sperm bank account, his income, loans, security payments, taxes, pension, and finally the disposition of such further organs as may be surgically extracted from him just prior to the moment of his official death. In the end, no action, no conversation, and possibly in time, no dream or thought would escape the wakeful and relentless eye of this deity. Every manifestation of life would be processed into the computer and brought under its all-pervading system of control. This would mean not just the invasion of privacy, but the total destruction of autonomy, indeed, the dissolution of the human soul itself. Now, I am not saying that the computer is Dajjal, but the manifestation of the computer in our day and age is something unbelievable. And the Prophet ﷺ said that in the end of time, he said, سَتَرَوْنَ أُمُورًا عِظَامًا وَيَتَفَاقَمُ شَأْنُهَا فِي أَنفُسِكُمْ حَتَّى يَتَسَاءَلُوا هَلْ ذَكَرَ نَبِيُّكُمْ لَكُمْ شَيْئًا مِنْ هَذِهِ الْأَشْيَاءِ. The Prophet said that towards the end of time, you would see great things, unbelievable things. And in a riwayah, لَمْ تَرَوْهَا مِنْ قَبْلِ, you didn't see them before. And he said, and their sha'n would become very just overwhelming. You would be overwhelmed by it. فِي أَنفُسِكُمْ يَتَفَاقَنُ شَأْنُهَا فِي أَنفُسِكُمْ. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, until you start asking one another, did our Prophet make mention of these things? And he said, and from the signs, وَتَزُولُ الْجِبَالُ عَنْ أَمَاكِنِهَا, the mountains would be moved in those days. The mountains would be moved in those days. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that they وَمَكْرُ مَكْرُهُمْ وَعِنْدَ اللَّهِ مَكْرُهُمْ وَإِنْ كَانَ مَكْرُهُمْ لَتَزُولَ مِنْهُ الْجِبَالِ. They plot their plots, these kuffar, and Allah knows what they're plotting. And even if their plot moves the mountain itself, Allah knows their plot. And this is an age of literally, they have moved mountains. I mean, quite literally, with their machines. Now, one of the things the Prophet ﷺ said about the Dajjal is he said that the Dajjal would, he said, يَرْكَبُهُ حِمَارٌ يَرْكَبُهُ, he said he would ride a donkey. And he said, and this is in Musnad Ahmad. He said, مَا بَيْنُ أُذْنَيْهِ أَرْبَعُونَ دِرَاعًا. What was between the two ears is 40 cubits of this donkey. And in the Kanz al-Uman, بَغْلَةٌ مِنْ حَدِيدٍ, a mule from iron. And he would ride this donkey, and he said, فَيَرِدُ كُلَّ مَاءٍ وَمَنْهَلٍ, and he would enter into every place of human habitation. إِلَّا مَكَّةَ وَالْمَدِينَةِ. These are the only two places that they cannot enter. إِلَّا مَكَّةَ وَالْمَدِينَةِ عَلَى أَبْوَابِهَا مَلَائِكَةٌ يَحْمُونَهَا. On the gates of Mecca and Medina are angels that protect it from the Dajjal. And the Prophet ﷺ then said, بَيْنَ عَيْنَيْهِ مَكْتُوبٌ بَيْنَ عَيْنَيْهِ كَافِرٌ بِهِجَاءٍ يَقْرَأُهُ كُلُّ مُؤْمِنٍ كَاذِبٍ أَوْ غَيْرِ كَاذِبٍ قَارِئٍ أَوْ غَيْرِ كَاذِبٍ أو كاذب أو غير كاذب, that they would read and see kufr written between the two eyes of this Dajjal, and it would be written in an alphabet. He said بِهِجَاءٍ, and Tabarani بِهِجَاءٍ, an alphabet. It would be written in an alphabet that says kafir, unbeliever, and they would be able to read it. Every mu'min, whether literate or illiterate, whether they can read or they can't read. Now, one of the phenomena of this age is what's known as the semiotics. In other words, in order to facilitate people who can't read, things are literally written in semiotic alphabet, not by pictures. So for instance, you see Shell station, they don't write Shell anymore, if people notice that. They don't write Shell. They just have a shell and everybody knows that's Shell. So you don't have to know how to read Shell to know that it's the Shell station. This is one of the phenomena of our age, is that people can literally read things through semiotics without having to have this knowledge. And then in the other tradition, he says, "Min a'lam as-sa'a," al-Tabarani relates this, "yakun al-waladu ghayda." Children would become full of rage. "Wal-maqru qayda." And the rain would be burning. It would be burning. You see, qayda means to burn. وَتَفِيضُ الْأَشْرَارُ فَيْضًا. And evil people would be prevalent everywhere. وَمِنْ أَعْلَامِ السَّاعَةِ مُلْكُ الصُّبْيَانِ. Children would begin to own, they would become مُلْكُ الصُّبْيَانِ, that they would have dominion, children. And this is part of the Dajjal system, is to empower children over their parents. In other words, they give children rights that they can literally take their parents to court, sue their parents, become divorced from their parents. They can do this in the Dajjal system. I mean, this is happening right now in this country, and they want this to be all over the world. They want these rules to be implemented. This system, they want it to be implemented all over the world. What they call the rights of the child. And we recognize that children have rights in Sharia, but we also recognize the limitations of those rights. وَمُؤَامَرَةُ النِّسَاءِ. And the conspiracy of the women. This is also a sign of the end. Subhanallah, this is hadith in Tabarani over 1400 years ago, that there would be a conspiracy of women all over the world. And part of this conspiracy is literally to completely undermine the family system as it exists in every single religious culture. They want to completely undermine the authority of the father, that the father should have authority in the household. No. And this is happening in our time. So this is all preparation for the final coming of this Masih al-Dajjal, the impostor Christ. So the system is literally being formulated. And if you don't think it, then you are like the Prophet ﷺ, حَتَّى يَظْهَرَ النَّاسُ مِنْ ذِكْرِهِ. Until people are in complete heedlessness about who the Dajjal is, about what he is. The Prophet clearly clarified that the Dajjal is literally the antagonist, the impostor Christ. He's the opposite of Jesus. Now if you look at what that means, you see, Dajjal means an impostor, somebody pretending to be something they're not. If you look at Isa alayhi salam, Isa's tradition, unlike the Muhammadan way, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the Prophet's way is a way in which the dunya is recognized and fulfilled. In other words, the dunyawi obligations, alhamdulillah, our deen is a deen in which ghanaim was made halal for us. The booty from jihad, these type of things. The Prophet did not completely shun the dunya. He just warned us, don't let the dunya take over.